my Herb Blair pointer, or scribe. So I got the piece back in, flipped around, dog on the other end. This is my mark I made of where the table sits when it's in there seated all the way. And so I want to make sure my shoulder is just a smidge a little bit below this line. You know, so that when my adapter plates go on, they will seat on the table. So my shoulder is going to be just the edge of this line, like. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn all this down to 875, which is the largest diameter. So I'm going to try to get that right on the nose, because when I make my other pieces, I'll bore those to fit this. So 875, and then we're going to have a 3/4 thread out here. Now that 3/4 thread is only going to be ½ an inch long, and this shoulder here is only going to be 1/4 inch long. That's what we're going to do. Just going to take a light cut and get our thing zeroed in and measured. Of course, if the direction was right, it always helped. Oh, you gonna go out?
Huh?
You riding?
Yeah, Siller 2.
Siller 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You gonna try to call me? Different places?
Yeah.
Okay. That way we got an idea where, how far away they work and stuff.
Pretty neat one of those lights.
Oh.
Little microphone.
Yeah. Oh, a little over 70 to take off, so we're gonna take off the bulk here in one cut, hopefully. Go faster, I guess. This is just a high-speed tool. I'll stop at my shoulder line. About 31.8 to come off, so we're gonna do a little calibration cut and fix it up. perfect finish. Let's see, we're really close here. Only 6 point, oops, I hit it. You got 6.7 thousandths here. Yep, 6.7 to go. I got this in incremental mode. Do a check here. Out here, this is going to be a lot smaller out here. So, oh, 4/10. So, we're just gonna leave it there. I think. If I'm within a half on this part, I'm good with that. Happy with a half. Within 1/10. I think I'm good with that. Quick little polish, some Scotch-Brite, and it's that much difference. So we're looking good on the 875. Now we're going to go, I'm going to take this out and I'm going to put it in the dividing head, or in the rotary table again. And I need to make sure I have enough here that sticks above the table, because this is going to be my register when the piece screws on. So I want to mark that to make sure I have enough, and then we'll be cutting a groove in there and cutting this down to 3/4, and so we can single point some threads on there. All right, I put a mark. My plan was to have about 1/4 of an inch there, and I'm a little over. I'm 5/16. It looks a little better, so I have plenty above the table to register on. So we're gonna cut this down to 0.745 up to that shoulder, and then we're going to cut a groove, a relief groove for the thread, and then we'll thread it. Okay, I got this turned down 600 roughly, and I already did a scratch pass. My camera died, so I had to charge it up a little bit. So I just got it up to this point and ready to cut the threads. 3/4 10. Okay, let's go. I got a dashboard gauge also set up on here. So depth of threads 130 thousandths. So we should need to go 65 on the dashboard gauge. So we'll just do a 5 thousandths cut here. We go kind of slow. It's a pretty coarse thread, so it goes fast. Well, Mr. Bozo just came. I didn't have the gear, I guess, engaged all the way, and it just slipped out a little bit. Boy, I'm gonna see if I can recover this. All right, I don't know if you can see there, but I'm gonna. It kind of screwed up this one thread right there. So just the one thread. So I'm going to realign, and we'll see if we can finish this thread off. Doesn't have a lot to go, but we're going to see what we can fix it. Otherwise, this just plain sucks, all this work, right? But what I could do, just sitting here thinking off the top of my head, so I could always cut this off, bore it, and put a 3/4 stud in there type of thing. I could do it. Well, if I can't fix it, then I might just do that. I'm not going to waste this piece. Alright, I'm going to get realigned. Alright, I got it realigned, and here's a little practice run. It didn't take me very long. It only took me maybe 10 minutes here to get it right. And I think it looks pretty good. There we go. So we're going to cut it. Finish cutting it. Okay, I was able to salvage those threads. There's a little bit of a bugger right in there, but you know, it's not too bad. I don't know if you can tell, but anyway, the nut here fits like just really nice. A tiny bit of play, but next to nothing, and it screws right down next to the shoulder, perfect. So I'm gonna call that pretty good. And that's about it. Good thing I wasn't selling those. But anyway, we're gonna end up we're gonna whack this off, saw this off, and I'm gonna have to hold this somehow, and I'm gonna cut this off, of course, too. So and get the ends machined there. But anyway, this part, this part is really good. Like I said, we're going to cut this off and cut this off. So we're just about done with this. But anyway, I'm happy I was able to fix that up a little bit. So it will work. It will work. Alright, on to getting those things cut off and figure out how to hold it. Okay, I figured out how to hold it. I don't know if you remember, but I made this as a Morse taper number 3 inside with a straight outside, so you can put it in a chuck. Well, that's going to work perfect. We're going to slip that in there. That looks so perfect. That dimension there should be about 197 according to the book type thing, and it's very close to that. That little bit right there came out just right. Not this shoulder, but the last bit of the taper. So I'm really happy with that. So I'm gonna put this in the chuck. I'll whack those off, put it in the chuck, and I should be able to machine that. Then I should be able to whack it in there good to hold it the other way, and hopefully machine that. Even if I have to cut some of this off, so I can machine that end. We'll get her done. I just threw that. Oops! I just threw it in the bandsaw. We just whacked it off flush with the end of this. and cut off the end of that, and I'm going to throw that in the lathe and machine these ends up. Okay, so we got this all machined up. I used that Morse taper number 3. Put that, put in Logan, and cleaned up the end after I cut it off. I cut off 5/8 of an inch of this so I could get to the end of this, and I cut off another 1/2 an inch of this and machine the end. Kind of handy having that. Good thing I kept it. So that's going to be a wrap on our arbor, Morse taper number 3, 3/4 10 thread, and then a 875 a register for our other pieces we're going to make. So this is going to go in the front from the table side, and I made a little special washer that's going to act, and this socket head, 1/2 inch 13 socket head, is going to act as our drawbar. So I'm going to pull this little off here. Just kind of keeps that table together. The washer is going to live in, there's a cavity in here, and I'm just going to leave the washer in there. It's going to come up against a shoulder that's on the bottom of where the taper ends. So down in here, there's a, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little shoulder. It's not much, but where the taper ends. And this washer, I mean, just goes in there real nice and sits on that shoulder. So we can put this in there. We can't have anything sticking out past here. Because this, this is below the base of the unit. So get this back in there. You can't have anything sticking out past the base, so this is what I came up with as a drawbar setup. Yeah, pounded in there, probably good enough, but I wanted to make sure it's going to be secure. No big deal. Now the bolt will come out, but that washer will stay in there. See, I can get the bolt out, but the washer cannot come out. This is smaller than that bore, so the washer will remain. So we'll put kind of everything in the way, huh? So then there's our gauge again. Just perfect on there. That's just how, according to book on that. Just according to book. So I'm real happy with that. So this will go in here. I don't know how I'll be able to hold that, but on my nut, I guess. But I should be able to, it's shorter than the taper, so a little bit. So I can just give it a couple whacks and solid, and then I can tighten up the little drawbar. And that is that's going to be our center for the table. And then I'm going to make some more pieces. I'm going to make a like a backing plate for the forejaw that's going to thread on there, and then the forejaw can just we can bolt the forejaw to that plate. I mean, it's just like a backing plate you're going to put on a lathe, really, because it has 4 bolts that go through the center, but would not reach out to these grooves. So that would be perfect. And I put my forejaw on, and then I'm going to make another piece. I'd show you the piece if I knew where it was. Anyway, that's going to go on there also, and I'll be able to thread my 6 jaw that I have on the Logan. So both Logan chucks will be able to go on here, and we'll make a kind of a super spacer kind of thing. I even thought about making indexing plates that go behind, which I could still do. Will go behind the chuck. I'm kind of tempted to do that and put a little indexing lock, and I might do that in the future. So, but this here is going to be the nice perfect centering piece for the chucks. I'm over here on the small service plate. So after we cut this taper and made the arbor here, I thought I'd just check it for the taper. So here's our gauge, the .938 gauge, and so I slipped it on there, and the edge of this blue line, this edge, is where it came to. So I just went around it with a Sharpie, just so I know. So we're gonna set. We have it sitting on a sine bar, and 2508 is double the angle. Okay, for the gauge blocks, 0.2508. So I got gauge block set up, and it measures 2508. So why double the angle? Double the angle so that this will be level, basically, to the surface of the surface plate. Because the surface plate, it's close to level, but it's not level. But everything's relative to the plate here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zero this out over here on the edge. I'm going to go back and forth like this to find the high spot. And get the dial indicator zeroed on the high spot. Near the gauge line here. And I'm going to zoom you in after I show you this. Then I'm going to do it down here, and we'll go down. Now this is not the length of the Morse 3-number taper. It should be 3 1/16, and as you can see here, if we go from the gauge line, it should be 3 1/16, 3.0625 from the gauge line, and here's 3 1/16. I had to cut some off because the taper is not that long in the rotary table. It's just a little bit longer than this is from that mark. So, because I need that room so I can draw it up tight. And it does no good out here. It's not in the taper anyway. So we're going to come over here, and we'll measure that. I'll go across here, find the high spot, and we're about 3/4 out on the high side. So I think that came out pretty doggone good. Okay, so I have it a little closer for you. It's at the gauge line. We're going to come in and make sure our 0 is 0. At the high spot right there. And we're on 0. Now we'll come down. I'll just zoom out, and you'll see I'm just going to bring her down here. And we'll zoom back in. Right there's the high spot. We're looking at 3/10 roughly. So 3 to 4/10, maybe 4. There's a 1/2 thousandths inter-rapid indicator. So I'm pretty happy with those results. A little better angle there, you can see that. So yeah, pretty happy with that. It's basically spot on, at least as far as I'm concerned, without having to grind it or something. And that's just cutting it on the lathe. All I did was polish it up. I hit it with some Scotch-Brite, and that was it. So I think our taper came out really, really good. Thanks, guys.